Steve Mariucci, first order of business I want to talk with you about. Let's get to business. Let's get to business. Is Green Bay. And, you know, I lone wolfed my Jets yesterday in chesty fashion. Okay, I said it with my chest.
We heard all about it.
We did. And I just had a sense that the Jets, their young, talented players are beginning to get their sea legs under them and feel confident, and that they could go into Green Bay against a team that's been having problems offensively and then just gave up a whole ton of points in the second half in London, come out with a win. And they did. So, first of all, what do you think of my Jets? Mooch, what do you think of them?
Well, I've said many times this is a very young, talented team.
Yes.
They've been drafting well the last 2-3 years,
They
right?
sure have, yeah.
Good young coaches, the whole thing. I think they're a year ahead of themselves right now. I think they're really going to be good when the quarterback gets some experience.
Yes, sir.
Because they're so talented all the way around. Love the running backs, the receivers. They're just fighting, okay? Rewind a little bit. I'm not sure why a Packer team or a team that goes to London doesn't ask for the bye afterward. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they get a choice. They get a choice. If you're going to go to London, do you want to buy or not? And
The
they
Giants
chose no.
didn't. The Giants
I know they
didn't.
both chose no.
Right.
And you know how that time changes, gets you out of whack and everything. And gets you, I would want to buy after a London game, personally. They looked, I don't know what the word is, lethargic, or something was wrong. I think Aaron Rodgers is hurt.
Well, he was definitely moving his
We're
thumb around
getting
the
more
entire
quarterbacks
game.
hitting helmets. It's like an epidemic right now.
I know.
Right? And so
that one happened at the end of the London game where he was trying to wind up for the
last
Hail
play of the
Mary,
game.
and I thought he would have some sort of elbow or shoulder problem, but he had a finger problem. And again, we are sitting here. It's week 7 now, and we have not gotten past the whole Devontae Adams isn't here anymore and who's going to step up conversation. We are now a month and a half into the season, and it's clear that there's still something going on there. I'd like to play this soundbite from Aaron Rodgers after the Green Bay home loss to the Jets, and this is what he had to say on what the offense needs to do moving forward, and I'd like your interpretation of the comments. Roll it.
What is it that you think you guys need to be offensively? What do you need to do?
Simpler. Simplify some things. On the couple drives we did move the ball, it was very simple things. Very simple plays, no motion. So we need to look at everything and the guys that we got and what we can accomplish with them, and let's be smart about moving forward. Nobody works harder than Matt on the plan each week, and nobody comes with better ideas than him and his staff. But if it's not working, it's not because those guys aren't grinding. It's because we're not executing. And if we think we have the right players, then we need to simplify things. If you don't, then that's a whole other conversation.
Steve?
I've heard that comment by a coach before. Simplify it. Because he obviously really likes Matt LaFleur and the scheme that he's been the MVP 2 years in a row. It's working for him.
Also, because you could sense in his comments there, Steve, is that he knew when he said, talking about simplifying the offense, that it could be interpreted that he's throwing his coach under the bus, and his comments were then subsequently backed up by making sure nobody got that sense that he thinks the world of LaFleur and they're grinding.
Yeah.
But it's obvious that he's saying that simplifying it because when they moved the ball, there wasn't any motion. He's talking about the guys who's out there.
He's talking about the guys out. Yes, he's not talking about the coach at all. He's complimenting the system. He likes the system.
Right.
When you have new parts, they can't absorb and execute everything that a veteran quarterback can. He's been through it. He's smart. He knows it. These new guys, there's some intricacies about this offense that, rather than they have to stop and think, where am I lined up? What am I doing? What's my adjustment? It's an RPO. They run more RPOs than anybody in the league. Run-pass option is a college thing. Aaron Rodgers is running the most college-like offense in the National Football League, if you can imagine that right now. And he's just saying, pare it down, If your volume of plays is 180 or 200, let's pare it down to 100 so we can practice everything another time and simplify it for the players that are out here. He's probably having to coach guys in the huddle about exactly what to do, reminders and alerts and adjustments and audibles and all of those things. So I think he's just saying, hey, we got a lot of new players. Let's just simplify it and just try to execute and not screw it up.
Well, my issue with this is not that he's saying it, because I think he's being very honest when he's saying that, is that I thought that at this point in time, this is when they're supposed to have gotten the simple things down, and now we can start expanding the playbook.
Yes.
I thought that by the back half of the season, Dobbs and the rest of this young, Christian Watson.
He's been hurt.
All these guys, I know that, but these kids would have been able to get it by now, and now we're going to expand it. And then by the end of the season, when it matters most, you're going to see the offense as similar as it possibly can be with these new players. Instead, Randall Cobb gets carted off yesterday. And it looked like when you see a veteran like that react the way that he did, it's like he's wondering, is my career over? That's the sense that I got. And it was heartbreaking to me to see that. But he's basically saying, let's get it simpler now.
Yeah.
That's a major alarm bell for me, especially when he's saying, if you don't think we have the right people here, then that's an entirely different conversation.
Yeah.
He's saying that going into week 7, Steve.
Yeah, it is a little bit alarming for Packer Nation, okay? Mm-hmm. We start talking about this when Devontae Adams wasn't around anymore, and Marquez Valdes-Scantling isn't around anymore. And so it's like, okay, well, when are they going to draft? They're going to draft the first rounder? No, they didn't again. They drafted second and fourth and later and then added Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
So it's, and then remember the frustration that Aaron had during training camp? He was thinking that these guys just aren't getting it fast enough. He was just, he wanted them to get it. And so what we thought could be a problem is turning out to be a problem.
Yes.
But what's exacerbated the problem is all these injuries. Not only Cobb, but Watson and Alan Lazard. And some of these guys have not been available to practice or play. That's why instead of progressing as the season goes on, they're going to have to reel it back in a little bit. See who's playing, and boy, figure out a way, because right now the Packers don't look like the Packers.
I'm telling you, man.